And today, I want to tell you the story of Idri, which is quite literally an island of peace in Congo. For the past 30 years, one of the deadliest conflicts since World War II has raged around Idri, and despite the presence of one of the largest and most expensive peacekeeping missions in the world, several million people have died, but Idri itself has avoided mass violence. You have a geostrategic location. Idri is located right at the border between Congo and Rwanda, two countries that have been at war regularly since the 1990s. Idri also has mineral resources, ethnic tensions, lack of state authority, extreme poverty, local conflict over land and traditional power, and many other features that have caused extensive violence in the neighboring provinces, in the Kivus. And what's fascinating about Idri is that the island is peaceful because of the active, everyday involvement of all of its citizens. The Peace Inc. conventional approach to peace building is based on misleading and detrimental assumptions, like the ideas that only top-down intervention, only working with elites, with government, can end armed violence. And what worries me is that we've seen this strategy, this dominant mainstream strategy of building peace, fail again and again in Congo for 30 years. And yet, today, that's the only peace-building strategy that's being promoted and funded and talked about in the media as a response to the most recent escalation of violence.
However, what we've seen over the years is a lack of political will to hold to account those who are in command and control. We don't think it's by accident that Paul Kagame of Rwanda, been in power for 30 years, Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, been in power for 40 years. Both nations have invaded the Congo twice, 1996, again in 1998. That 1998 invasion is the one that triggered the deaths of some 5.4 million. Although they've been jointly invading the Congo and plundering the Congo, according to just a raft of reports coming out of a group of experts of the United Nations. They've even fought each other on Congolese soil, the so-called Six-Day War in Kisangani. The Rwandan military, the Ugandan military fought each other, resulting in the deaths of almost 1,000 Congolese. And most assertive form of justice that's been brought against Uganda, where the Congolese government brought them to court, International Court of Justice in 2005, and International Court of Justice ruled that Uganda owes Congo reparations for war crimes, crimes against humanity, plunder, which in 2024, they paid some form of it that they maybe still be paying or almost done. As President Museveni put it best, he said, Congo is a banana plantation. You go and you get what you want. So we see that the dominant form of the continuation of the impunity that exists in the region is the competition between these two states in the face of a weak Congolese state, saying that's their domain. So they have a tremendous amount at stake, economically, strategically, that they don't intend on letting go, and that they're rewarded for even in their controlling of the east of the Congo, as we've seen where the European Union, in its scramble for critical minerals, enter into a critical minerals deal with the Rwandan government in the midst of Rwanda, well documented, and M23 occupying mineral-rich territory in the east.
So as Maurice mentioned, and I'll just say very quickly, the situation today is much different from the one in 2012 for a couple of reasons. It is true that donors, including the US, the EU, the UK, Germany, and Sweden had suspended aid to Rwanda in 2012. And at the same time, the Rwandan support this time in 2022, 2023 up to the present appears to be even greater than it was in 2012. The UN group of experts reports have talked about the M23 having the capabilities of GPS jamming and spoofing, surface-to-air missiles, and drones. And these are not, kind of things that we believe they could be in possession of if it weren't for substantial Rwandan support, in addition to the troops on the ground. We are living in a world now where, you take the examples of Ukraine and Gaza, where it appears that the use of force by states to occupy and potentially annex parts of other states is becoming, to a certain extent, more palatable for the international community, given the kind of balance of power that exists now in a multipolar world with China and the United States and Russia. Fear is that what we're witnessing right now in the DRC amounts to a kind of de facto annexation.
So what do Kagame and Museveni want from the Congo? Minerals, and particularly strategic minerals in high demand for the 21st century economy. This is the reason why China is so greatly involved in the Congolese mining industry, and the United States, the European Union, and Canada do not want to be left behind in the competition. One of the most important mines that the Rwandans put their hands on is the Rupaya coltan mine in North Kivu. Experts tell us that Rwanda earns $800,000 a month in revenues. No wonder the General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the son of President Museveni and Chief of Staff of the Ugandan People's Defense Force, has already made clear that he wants the Ituri province, which has Lake Albert, forests, and excellent land for agriculture. The RDF has been moving people from their villages and towns in the Congo to make room for overpopulated Rwandans. This, in addition to our abundant sources in minerals, forests, and land for settlement and agriculture, Little Rwanda wants a larger space to provide a better environment for its people. So my conclusion is that the world is not willing to punish Kagame for his crimes against the Congolese people.
And what we see happening now is virulent ethnocentrism that is informing all the demands that we see coming from the Rwandan side. There are two factors here. We have the land grab and minerals grab, and population pressure that lead all these things. But when we listen to the discourses, to the justifications that are coming from Rwanda, they question the colonial boundaries, saying that the Rwandan kingdom used to also have lands in the Congo. If you look at the demands they are making about power sharing, we see that they want 40% of power, which means they put all the Congolese into one group, and they are and the Tutsis are another group, so that they have to share power. They perceive themselves as a legacy of colonial rule, as being superior to the other groups. And so we see here history being falsified to support the claims for power, for land, and for mineral control. So that we need to pay attention to these discourses and put them in the context.